We gotta learn to get back. But is it worth the price of our soul? You know you have to kill her. I feel like I've brought this up every single time I've covered something anime related. Not that I think you should go back and watch my older reviews for the sake of you not overdosing on a lethal amount of cringe, but throughout my experience, I've never failed to include I'm not a big anime fan, or I don't watch a lot. I'm very picky with anime. However, now I feel like I've seen enough to confidently come out of my shit-stained closet and say I love anime. There's so many good stories out there that I would love to either watch or complete someday. But, and I'm sorry to say this, I did something unforgivable. When I was like 5 or 6, I lived in a small condo with my mom. Long story short, I wiped my ass with a camouflage sleeping bag. This has nothing to do with the video, but it recently made its way back into my psyche, and I thought to myself, damn. That was hype. Now, do I regret doing that? Absolutely not. What I do regret is dropping Attack on Titan Season 3 and not finishing it until almost a year later. There are many factors that could have contributed to me dropping the series. Was it the fact that Netflix still only has the first season, at least in the US? Was it the constant intrusive ads on Crunchyroll? Yeah, it was probably that. I don't care how many shows they have or how early the episodes come out, I'm never paying for Crunchyroll. Trust me, you do not know true pain until you've been ass blasted with the same crusty fuck-ass Domino's ad 10 times in a row. But little did I know when I stopped watching, I would eventually come back to some of the best action writing and storytelling my pupils would ever witness. This is going to be less of a review and more of me just going through and gushing about all the things I love about this series. This is mainly a passion project. I don't expect this to do well since I'm well aware the algorithm thrives off negativity, or in my case, Ninja Turtles. But regardless, I hope you enjoy me licking this show's balls for however long it takes. This is Hajime Isayama's Attack on Titan. Not that I've inherited the Attack Titan or anything, but I'm sure I can predict that some people are going to look at the title and yell at me saying I should watch more anime. Some might even go as far as to call it overrated. And look, all I'm saying is let me cook. In my eyes, this series has had almost no low points and has maintained a consistently entertaining story and narrative throughout its 4.5 half-half seasons. I shouldn't have to tell you this story, but for the sake of the video, I think it's important to discuss all the important moments that make up the building blocks of this tale until it ultimately comes crumbling down. This story follows 3 central characters. Armin, who acts as the kind, level-headed smart one, Mikasa, who's pretty quiet but can throw some serious hands, and our main man, Eren Yeager. Born into a world confined by these big-ass walls to protect the people from the Titans. These big, ugly, man-eating predators. In the real world, we would call them Snyder fans. It's basically a really deep and way cooler version of David vs. Goliath. This has to be one of the most iconic pieces of art ever created. Not only does it convey the story of AOT perfectly, but it's also just so damn perfect. Remember Mona Lisa? Yeah, that bitch. Now imagine her staring down a giant, dual-wielding, comically large box cutters. Anyways, this entire civilization is basically cut off from the rest of the world, if there even is one. Thankfully for them, they have their own military who use what they call ODM gear, which basically allows them to grapple and web-sling their way around areas as long as there's stuff to latch onto. Guns do exist, but anything outside of an actual pirate cannon is completely useless, so they use swords as a means of slicing the back of their necks or their nape in order to kill them. If you make your way high up in the military, there's a good chance you'll become a scout or a part of the Survey Corps, which is the force that's directly involved with fighting Titans outside the walls. And listen, I have to mention this for the sake of my sanity. This gear, the swords, and especially the green hood, is some of the dopest looking shit I've ever seen. And that's exactly where Eren determines to get, because, well, let's just say, everything changed when the Colossal Titan attacked. This is one of the best and most captivating first episodes in all of media. Eren now has all the motivation anyone could need. He's going to eradicate every single one until none of them remain. Now, in the case of Eren, he's about as standard a protagonist as you could get at first. He looks pretty bland and unremarkable, which was done on purpose, but don't worry, we'll get there. I actually really like the way Eren is characterized. It's completely understandable why he's so angry and bloodthirsty, even if it is what will eventually lead him down a dark path. I literally cannot watch Demon Slayer anymore without thinking to myself, your entire family was butchered into pieces. Why are you so goddamn happy all all the time. They all enlist in the military, something Mikasa was basically made for, but Eren, thinking that he's special and will be the one to kill all the Titans, doesn't exactly get off to a very impressive start. I'm sorry, pal, you're just not that guy.
Alright, listen up, pussy farts. I got a prostate the size of a car battery, and my wife won't let me sleep in the same bed no more. So I'm gonna take all my rage and failure and use it to mold soldiers out of the sorry-ass queef buckets I see standing before me.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. He does eventually make his way to guarding the wall with the rest of the homies. He made it this far. How could anything go wrong?
Fuck you, punk-ass, bougie-ass, hook-ass nigga. I'll beat your motherfucking sedity-ass nigga. Don't never in your life ever try to holler at me, nigga.
I, for one, believe this is a perfect time to go over the full cast. There's Jean, who acts as Eren's sort of rival, being that he sees signing up for the Survey Corps as nothing more than Titan food, and basically accepting defeat, going against everything Eren believes in. There's Sasha, a fan favorite for being one of the only characters to have a bit of life and energy in them. Seriously, it's impossible not to love her. You then have her best friend Connie with his despicable-ass hairline. Hanji, who basically acts as the second in command and is obsessed with figuring out and dissecting the Titans. There's Annie, who not only has ass, but will also plant your face firmly in the grass. Bertolt and Reiner, who are completely on their side. And of course, big man, Captain Levi. He's Mikasa's distant cousin, a part of the Ackerman family, and I completely believe this because their power rivals that of even the strongest Titans. He does have his backstory shown in a short OVA, but for now all you need to know is that he's the best man for the job and he's able to turn every vagina into a colossal typhoon. There are other important characters like Erwin and Pixis, but those are the main ones for now. Everyone else is just there to get slonked, except for Eren, obviously, because he's the main character. Fuck! Well, my life no longer has purpose. Okay, so Eren can morph into a Titan. This is without a doubt a pivotal moment in the series. Eren obviously becoming what he swore to destroy for reasons we aren't aware of yet, and it's the people of the Wall's first time witnessing a human not only turning into a Titan, but one that defends them and can also turn back. We actually see this as early as the training arc, with the steam coming off Eren's head indicating he's part of the 9 original Titans who can do everything I just explained and even heal. However, everyone there is clearly like, hey Eren, like what the fuck? But they come to their senses and use him to plug the wall. They arrest him on charges of having too much swag, and in order to prove he's not a threat, here comes Levi hitting him with the most zesty-ass set of kicks imaginable. I ain't gonna lie, I hated Levi when I first saw this. Keep in mind, Eren is 15 and Levi is like 30. I mean, he is 5'1", so I guess I'll let it slide. Shit like this is great for the shore community, pray for us. So Eren, now being under Levi's supervision, joins the scouts. Only one problem. Oh shit, they have tits now. This is the female Titan. Its special ability is hardening, perhaps in more ways than one.
She still got them big ass titties though. I'm just saying!
And as cool as this Titan is, it does raise quite a bit of questions. What happens if a man eats her? Does it remain the same? Does he become a woman? Does the female aspect cease to exist? I need answers. Anyways, the female Titan wants all the smoke and ends up killing Levi's entire squad, even giving Eren a vibe check in Titan form. Gee, I wonder who the female Titan could be. You know, I've never seen Annie and the female Titan in the same forest. Erwin figures out it's her because he's Mr. Ace Detective and they try to apprehend her, if only that went according to plan. Eren is unable to transform due to him feeling betrayed and not being able to clear his mind or some bullshit like that, so the rest of the squad tries to catch her to less than ideal results. Then Eren, despite being impaled through the fucking shoulder, finally transforms. His hatred is what keeps pushing him forward. Don't think he's gonna let slide what happened in that forest. And hey, it makes perfect sense why he lost. Not only has Annie shown to be a much more experienced fighter than Eren, but his brief hesitation in giving Annie an open shot is what caused him to almost be captured. So this man activates what is basically his version of Berserker Rage, which we will never see again, fades Annie by surprise, and pins her down after Mikasa is able to stop her from climbing. Mikasa is my favorite character, no question. Annie is pinned down, giving Eren a wide open shot, but once again he hesitates and she's able to seal herself away. Hope you enjoyed her, because we won't be seeing Annie for quite a while. Looking back on these fights, it's actually hilarious seeing Eren stop in his tracks before he kills her, whereas with Reiner and Bertolt, it never seemed like he showed them any kind of mercy. Like, I'm imagining as he was about to kill her, in his mind he was like, oh, God, but she's bad though. God damn it. So with Annie now captured, Eren being able to control his Titan powers, and still wondering who the Colossal and Armor Titans are, the studio thought best the show take a nice deserved break for 4 fucking years. I don't know what it is about this curse that Attack on Titan has had with its production and scheduling. Obviously this kind of stuff isn't unheard of, and trust me, it only gets worse from here. But whatever, people waited, and thankfully Season 2 was everything the fans had hoped for. Attack on Titan Season 2 was well worth the wait. Not for me, because I binged this series, but some of you might be wondering why Season 2 took so long to come out. It was actually at Isayama's request, giving him time to rework and redefine certain aspects of scenes and characters in the anime he wasn't happy with in the manga, and not wanting the anime to end up having to make filler in order to stay behind the manga. In the end, I'd say it was definitely a smart move. If you thought Annie being the female Titan was a big twist, prepare for your titties to have their milk blown off, even though I spoiled it 3 times already. In one of the most well-crafted and famous plot twists in all of anime, we get the reveal of Bertolt as the Colossal Titan and Reiner as the Armored Titan. The reason this twist works so well is because at first it feels like it comes out of bumfuck nowhere. I mean, Reiner just straight up says it so casually. But if you've paid attention like I didn't, or went back to rewatch the way these 3 conduct themselves and the strange conversations they've had with one another, even Annie not killing Reiner for seemingly no reason, it's completely believable and only makes more sense as the series goes on. Eren, now having no problems transforming whatsoever, begins to clash with Reiner while the rest deal with Bertolt. There's some absolutely insane animation in this battle aside from the CG that will thankfully get better over time. Eren quickly realizes he won't be able to throw hands the same way he did before for obvious reasons, so he pulls a Goku and starts using other people's moves on Reiner. It's such an awesome display of grappling from a choreography standpoint. The Titan fights in this series never disappoint, whether they're in 2D or 3D. Even still, Eren ends up getting captured, leaving Mikasa to once again try and save his bitch ass. They eventually get away from Reiner thanks to Armin manipulating Bertolt and Erwin being a certified one-armed badass, but with Mikasa being injured and ODM gear being useless in open areas, they're completely stranded with Eren not being able to transform because of course he can't. This right here is the best moment in Season 2 for me by far. The Titan that now stands in front of Eren and Mikasa is the same Titan that killed Eren's mother. Rewatching this episode was unfucking believable, a season finale that elevated AOT into the juggernaut it is today. Eren, unarmed and unable to transform with virtually no way out, can't do anything but watch as the guy who literally saved him from the Titan that ate his mother suffers the same fate. R.I.P. Hans, he was a real one. Eren begins to break down and exclaims how even after all this time, he still can't achieve what he set out to do. And in that moment, Mikasa, in one of the very few times we get to see them have an actual personal moment together, tells him how he taught her to live and that the scarf he gave her means everything to her. It's like a safety blanket, or a cum rag. Dog, when I tell you I actually got teary-eyed watching this, like I do not remember this scene being this fucking good. A lot of people rag on Mikasa saying she's nothing more than Eren's bodyguard, and while I completely get that notion, especially since a lot of her smaller moments from the manga were cut, you have to remember in a world like this where optimism and goofiness are things that make characters stand out, it doesn't seem too far-fetched for Mikasa to be a little dead inside. After all, it does seem to run in the family. But then there's people like Eren and Armin who make her feel loved and give her that purpose in her character that she otherwise wouldn't have. Eren wants to kill the Titans, Armin wants to explore the sea as well as the outside world, and Mikasa just wants to protect the ones closest to her. There is a very good chance she genuinely loves Eren, but just doesn't know how to express it. And it only gets more interesting as the series goes on, where she's conflicted on whether or not to stand with Eren. So yeah, not exactly that deep, but it's moments like these that remind me why she's my favorite character. This gives Eren the strength to stand toe-to-toe with the Titan, fully prepared to die, and without a single shred of fear, this happens. This will make more sense in the future, I promise. Season 3 is where things become much more conversation and politics heavy. Due to some behind the scenes bullshit, the series was split in 2, with the first half taking the series in a much more political thriller direction with some absolutely insane lore and imagery, then the second half focusing on the final stand against Reiner and Bertolt for essentially control of the island. But before we go over all that, there's one part of the story that I would love to shed some light on and give a couple characters the spotlight, those characters being Ymir and Historia. These two started as just normal scouts, with Historia being one of the kindest people in the Corps, and Ymir being very reserved and sometimes pretentious, the one person she liked being Historia. Ymir's backstory is heartbreaking, but this flashback gives us probably more foreshadowing than any episode prior to Season 4, with young orphan Ymir being lied to about her royal heritage and suffering a fate worse than death for being an Eldian. Somewhere along the line, however, she ate someone in Reiner's group before they destroyed the wall, giving her the powers of the Jaw Titan. At first, this Titan is pretty goofy in terms of design, but thankfully this is by far the most disposable Titan, and the look of it gets way better over the course of the series. Ymir feels bad about killing their former teammate, so her and Reiner make a deal in exchange for each other's help. He wants to bring back Eren, and she wants to bring back Historia. Ymir is hot as fuck. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's the demeanor or the freckles, but I'm sorry, she might just be the baddest in the show. She's very gorgeous to me. After Eren and the others get away, at the last minute, even with Historia still willing to be her ride or die, she decides to leave Historia behind even though she believes there's no future within the walls. Ymir goes back to her home country and gives up her Titan, but not before sending now Queen Historia, because we just need to rub it in a bit more, one final letter. It reads,
から死ぬ。でも後悔はしてない。そう言いたいところだが、正直心残りがある。まだお前と結婚できてないことだ。
Damn, absolutely tragic stuff. The only queer relationship in the story, and it just can't happen. This leads us perfectly into Season 3. Long story short, there's corruption in the government and military, with Eren and Historia now being wanted for reasons. Levi has largely taken a back seat in this story so far, but from here on out, he's a mainstay, and it is glorious. We're going rogue this time, and while Levi's trying to figure out what exactly is going on, leaving Armin and some dude as body doubles for Eren and Historia. Oh, hell nah.
They have a warrant for your arrest. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Like you.
He's like, hey you, disposable extra. Have you ever heard of Kenny the Ripper? No, why? We've never seen Levi cornered like this before, so it's incredible to see him showcase how well versed he is in using the 3D maneuver gear. Fun fact, this entire sequence was animated by one dude in a single month. Sure, he had help, but the bulk of it was done by him, and good lord, this is epic. The ODM gear scenes are precisely what makes this show stand out, and whenever they go super hard on the animation or get really creative with it, it usually blows up and becomes the most memorable part of the episode. Up until this point, we've gone from humans versus titans, to titans versus titans, and now humans versus humans, because not only is the government corrupted, basically wanting the Survey Corps dead, but now we're fighting mercenaries with guns in a huge game of tug-of-war involving Eren and Historia. They do end up overthrowing the government and tracking them down to the place where everything began, and yes, I mean everything. It turns out Eren's father stole the founding titan and killed the royal family, which means Eren not only ate his father, but he also possesses the founding titan, which basically means he's God. Only reason he can't use its power being he's not of royal blood. Unlike Historia. That's right, Historia is the rightful queen, and since her father was the only one who survived, he wants her to eat Eren to retrieve its power. I don't know what exactly it is, but Eren being chained up like this just goes so hard. Everyone swoons over Season 4 Eren, but just look at this man's physique. I swear to God, I need the Survey Corps training routine. Historia really considers it due to her father's wish, but then she's like, y'all have had this power for hundreds of years. Why'd your bum ass not do anything? And he's like,
Because.
She refuses and attempts to free Eren while her father licks the Titan serum like the icing on an Oreo. He transforms into the diabetic Titan, and Eren saves him using hardening for the first time. He kinda sucked at doing it before, but I guess he stole some Titan Viagra and can now go so far as to make gargantuan cocoons of himself. The Kidney Stone Titan does make it to the wall, but Eren comes in clutch and blows its head to high heaven. Historia ends up dealing the final blow and claims her place as the rightful queen. I didn't talk much about Kenny or his crew, so let's do that now. In short, Kenny is Levi's uncle who raised him and taught him all he knows. He spent most of his life killing and serving the royal family. He's easily one of the most memorable antagonists in all of AOT. His introduction is simply gas. I love how everything here is framed like a western, all the way from the guns, Kenny's hat, and of course, can't forget the saloon. His team also uses different ODM gear. These, unlike the normal ones, are made specifically for killing humans. Not only are they faster, but instead of swords, they use twin buckshot pistols. This is all really cool until you realize it fucking sucks. You can only fire on each gun once before reloading, and since the anchor shoots from the front of the gun, your entire backside is exposed while in the air. I understand all of this is completely nonsensical and pretty much throws physics out the window entirely, but this to me is some of the most interesting stuff in all of AOT. Just looking at these schematics and analyzing how this shit works is almost as interesting as the story itself. Especially since all of this is small steps toward more improved gear later on. So yeah, after all that happens, Levi and Kenny have one last chat, which concludes with Kenny's demise, but not before giving Levi probably the most important important item in the show, aside from maybe the basement key from Grisha. This serum, when injected, can turn anybody from the island into a Titan. Take the serum wrong, and this'll happen. We'll get into part 2 very soon, but there were a couple important things I missed, so here they are. Do you have any idea how much you have to dislike someone to throw a whole ass horse at them? This is the Beast Titan. It's not really as formidable as the others, but it does have quite the throwing arm. He's also Aaron's half-brother, but we don't talk about that just yet. So you're telling me, not only are there Titans outside the walls, not only are there Titans inside the walls, but the Titans are the walls! This is literally the greatest story ever made. No contest. It's over. Pack it up. We're now at Season 3, Part 2, and oh my golly googly gosh gosh. This is what I came back to when I picked the series back up again, and to say I was blown away would be the biggest understatement of the century. My skin practically came off my fucking body. Almost this entire second half is the battle to take back Wall Maria. We have Eren versus Reiner in the place where it all started. No, not that place. That place. Erwin, Levi, and the Suicide Squad versus the Beast Titan, and of course, Armin versus my mixtape. Eren leads Reiner away, and thanks to his new hardened knuckles, is finally able to throw some actual punches, and once Reiner is open, the scouts come in using their new toy, the Thunder Spears. In short, they go boom. The Beast Titan decides to corner the rest of the scouts using standard monkey tactics of just throwing a bunch of shit and daring them to do something about it. Erwin and Levi decide there's no way out, so Erwin's gonna lead everyone to their deaths, that way Levi can catch the beast by surprise. Obviously, some scouts aren't super into this idea, one of my favorite parts coming from the red hair kid that low-key be spittin', I won't lie. But this is Commander Erwin, the same man who still ordered them to charge while his arm was being chewed off. If you were gonna follow anyone to the pearly gates, it would be this guy. Meanwhile, even after the scouts blow Reiner's everything off his body, he's still alive. Bro's got the biggest plot armor of all time. Bertolt finally shows his bitch ass and is basically like,
My main goal is to blow up.
Back to Erwin, he leads the charge against the Beast Titan, and it goes exactly as planned. The Beast murks them all without even realizing he pretty much left a trail of Titans for someone to come and kill him. And what happens next is easily the highlight of the season, with probably the most impressive sequence of animation so far. Levi slices and dices up, down, and all around. He's so fast he didn't even give time for his neck to harden. Alright, Levi, good job. Now, fucking kill him, please. God damn it. What in the crusty cream-filled anus is that? Bertolt plans to take out the horses so they can't escape. Yeah, good luck with that. The scouts still can't get to him because of the steam, so they start getting desperate with Eren trying to halt Bertolt in his tracks to great success. They're down in Erwin, down in Eren, and Hanji's down in Ai. Then Armin finally conjures up a plan at the expense of his skin.
You okay, Patrick?
Turns out this was all a distraction and Eren deals the final blow. I love this scene. Eren finally takes out a major Titan in his human form, and of course it's against Bertolt who broke the wall in the first place. Bertolt and Reiner are finally incapacitated. God damn it! Levi shows up completely drained of energy and notices well done Armin. Eren demands the serum so Armin can eat Bertolt, but before Levi hands it over, the red hair kid shows up with Erwin still breathing. I'm getting chills just writing this. Imagine how I felt watching this episode for the first time. Unfortunately, I was spoiled on Armin becoming the Colossal Titan before I saw it, but the writing and dialogue is so good, I was still questioning whether or not they'll pick Erwin instead. This might just be my favorite scene in all of Attack on Titan. I wouldn't change a single thing. It is perfect. Under no circumstances would Eren stand up to Levi like this. When I tell you my balls were in a knot during this sequence, I mean it. You understand where everyone is coming from, and that's exactly what makes it so captivating. Levi, of course, decides to give it to Erwin because it's fucking Erwin, but then Erwin is like, remember when you said give up on your dreams? Well, that's fine, but don't give up on his. This was the episode that hooked me for life. Not an action scene or some insane animation, just pure writing and tragedy. This was the breaking point where I said, okay, show, I'm back, you have my attention. The mission ends with them using the key from Eren's father and finding, what's this? It's a photograph. The fuck is a photograph? Which means, oh my god, there's more people out there. The scouts then get rewarded for their efforts in battle, and during the event, Eren kisses Historia's hand. This single moment has just flipped the entire direction of the plot on its head. Eren has touched royal blood, he's seen everything, and he is not happy. I don't feel right skipping over this part, so let's recap. We get episodes explaining the backstory of Grisha, or Eren's father. Turns out he was an Eldian, which are the people who are able to become Titans, who grew up in another country called Marley, who despised the Eldians and brainwashed them to hate their own kind, exploiting their Titan powers for use in war. Grisha was feeling pretty silly one day and took his sister a bit too far out, which ended with her getting mauled by the nearest set of pit bulls. Grisha swore revenge and formed a rebel alliance, even marrying a woman of the royal bloodline. They had a son named Zeke who ended up ratting them out in order to gain Marley's respect, and Grisha's wife was turned into a Titan. By now, I think it's safe to assume that every Titan we've ever come across has been other humans. But oh no, it gets wackier, because it turns out Grisha's first wife was the one who ate Eren's mom, and when Eren touched her hand, that's why he was able to use the Founder's abilities. My mind is in shambles, my dick is hard, and we're still only getting started. Before Grisha could get turned into a Titan, however, he was saved by another ally and given his Titan. He made his way to Paradise, had another child, and then begged the royal family to do something about the Titans, and when they refused, he killed them and gave it all to Eren. This shit has more layers than an onion with Screlladoma. I don't know if I can keep going, guys, but god damn it, I'm gonna try. By this point, the Survey Corps has perfected their craft at Titan killing, and at last they make it to the end of the island where Armin gets to see what he's always dreamed about: the ocean. Everybody starts having a jolly ass time until Eren comes in and just fucking obliterates the mood. He's like, there's more people out there. People just like us. We should kill them. Bet.
Here we go, we never settle cause we know it bet. Here we go, who wanna test, who leave you at a...
This is by far going to be the hardest season for me to write, simply because of how much happens, how much new stuff is introduced, and how much lore gets thrown at us. So I guess I'll first start with the elephant in the room, the transition in animation. We've now switched to Mappa for the sole reason the higher-ups put a release date on this season that was so impossible, Mappa was the only one willing to take it. I sincerely hope the people at Mappa are treated and paid well just for how many projects and content they put out, all in very consistent quality. Then again, it is also funny to imagine it's just 4 dudes in an empty parking lot getting paid in hex bolts. The change in animation isn't that noticeable, mainly because there's been a time skip and all the characters look different anyway, but the biggest change has to be with almost all the Titans going from hand-drawn to CG. I'm gonna be honest, it's not perfect, sometimes it does clash a bit, but thankfully it's not frequent at all, and the fights are still plain delicious. You would think coming back after Season 3, and with how much has changed, they would start the story out pretty tame.
Nah, we in World War I, baby, welcome to the trenches.
So rather than following the characters we're used to exploring the new areas, we start this new season following a new group of Eldians residing in Marley. This is fucking world building. These new kids are Eldian soldiers competing for who will inherit the Armored Titan. Gabby wants the armor in order to kill all the island devils, as she calls them, and Falco wants it because... I don't know, he's trying to smash. I haven't mentioned this yet, but anyone who inherits one of the 9 Titans only has 13 years to live from that point forward. I'm not sure why they use children, but go off, I guess. Gabby is super oblivious to Falco's obvious crush, but my man's is persistent, let me tell you. There are other kids with them, but I don't know, they just have such crushable faces, especially this one. Reiner and Zeke return home, Ymir's Titan was given to this asshole named Porco, and this is yeah!
Oh my fucking god, man.
As I was saying, Peak is not only the baddest in the show. Fuck me. That's fucking disgusting. Oh my lord. As I was saying, this is Peak, not only the baddest in the show, forgive me, but she wields the Cart Titan, and I'm just gonna say it, they did her ass dirty. Because not only is this thing harder to look at than Connie's hairline, but it's so goddamn useless that it needs fucking cannons on its back like Blastoise to get anything done. Like I said, Reiner's back home, and he's like,
My mission was to retrieve the Founder. Instead, they stole the Colossal, they stole Annie, they stole my chain, and there was this one bitch who ate a potato like a fucking apple.
On a side note, I love Reiner's development. Tons of characters get the same treatment, but I'll start with him. In this season, we finally get the full scope of what happened on that day of the attack. It turns out him and his crew were around the same age as Eren when they were sent off to destroy the wall and claim the founder, or whatever else they could bring back like Eren's Titan. And when they got there, Ymir, freshly off getting turned into a Titan, ate Marcel, Porco's brother, stealing the Jaw Titan for herself. But it gets even crazier when before that, Marcel explained that Reiner wasn't even supposed to get the armor. It was Porco. He fucked with the stats to keep his brother safe, and now he himself is gone. Isayama, my man, who hurt you? Okay, so before we get into the really good stuff, by this point we now have all 9 Titans laid out and who they were given to. We also get some really sick looking animation for this, so I'm excited to break it down. Starting with the Jaw Titan. Not all that exciting, and it's been passed on more than the follicles on Connie's cranium, but it's super agile, and trust me, that jaw is going to be useful later on. Not for him, though. We got Zeke, the Beast Titan, armed with royal blood and a knack for baseball. He's still a massive snitch. Homegirl Peak gets the Cart Titan. This ugly son of a bitch has great endurance. And nothing else. The armor will go to Reiner because he can't fight for shit and we need cover. The Colossal will go to Bertolt. At first it may seem like your average skinwalker on bath salts, until you find out it's basically a living nuclear warhead. Annie is kind of a bitch, so we think she'll make use of the female. I got this wrong earlier in season 1, her special ability isn't hardening, turns out everyone can do that, she's just really good at it. Apparently she can eat pieces of other Titans to gain their abilities, but we never see her do that, so yeah, I'm just as lost as you. The War Hammer. I have no idea who has it, but it's basically the Swiss Army knife of Titans. Oh, what's that? That was only 8? Ugh, silly me, how could I forget when me and my friends already discussed this?
Instead of leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, you could leave a trail of fallen cocks.
The foreskin Titan. No.
Not counting the founder, the last Titan is Eren, who, thanks to his father, wields the Attack Titan. What's its gimmick? Oh, you know, nothing super special. I mean, we've got one that can create weapons from nothing, ones that can bite down really hard. No, nothing too unorthodox. Except it can see into the goddamn future, which means my guy has seen it all. His smile and optimism, gone, and it ain't ever coming back. Eren, without a doubt, has the best development in the whole show. Much like Reiner and Bertolt, the twist of him becoming the antagonist is sort of just thrown at us going into this new season. But even without more context like we're later shown, it's still easy to understand. He doesn't see a future getting along with the other countries, especially Marley. He's moved on from the Titans since they were never the real enemy to begin with. He's simply grown up and understands now who the real enemies always were. His bloodlust hasn't dwindled. In fact, it's reached its boiling point. He's basically become the boogeyman of AOT. He's always lurking and stalking when you least expect it. And the turning point of it all happens in this very episode, with all these world leaders coming together to listen to this one man say what they're all thinking. That hick-ass island over there? It's gotta go. Reiner pulls up to the event, but then Falco's like, come on, there's an old friend here to see you. And this is where the season just lets the sparks fly. I definitely cannot do justice to how well written and executed this scene is, so I'm gonna paraphrase. Reiner, I get it. You were just kids, brainwashed, just like the ones we're seeing today. There are no good guys and bad guys here. That's just the perks of war. You saw good people while you were there, and I see good people here as well. I don't blame you for what you did, but I also know that this place will never let us have peace, so I'm about to even the score. Eren has officially snapped. He knew he would never be the same when he put on the Black Forces, but here we are. He transforms and erupts from the ground, killing God knows how many in his path. He has truly become what he swore to destroy. The poster has been flipped, Eren has become the villain, and has pretty much declared war against everyone. But we ain't done yet. At last we get to see the Warhammer, and I ain't gonna lie, this shit's kinda busted. I think Eren must have realized that too, because he didn't even give her the time to fully transform. He is on Omega Demon time.
Breathe, darn you!
But like I said, this thing is straight up hacking, so she spears him through the chest and whips out the hammer like it's a game of Mario Bros. But before she could finish him off, guess what? Eren was manipulating Falco the whole time and had his ass sending letters to the ops. And you know what that Hear me out, I wasn't completely vibing with the shift in characters at first. It took a minute to get used to, and I've since come to greatly appreciate it. But even if I hated those first few episodes, it would all still be worth it to see the squad pull up with the most saucy entrance imaginable. Answer me this, what good are guns when you can't aim for shit? The scouts have become straight up ninjas at this point. They've perfected the ODM gear. They're swift, deadly, and goddammit, they know how to dress. I love the new looks, bro. Connie's shit is finally straight. Armin cut off that fucking salad bowl on his head, and no homo. Fuck that, all the homo. Jean out here looking handsome as shit. In fact, I could say the same about Mikasa because, oh my god, I am not a fan of the short hair. Eden, do you realize how many people you just killed? Including children? Nope. It's kind of funny that almost everyone got their hair cut and Aaron's just like, ugh, what's even the point anymore? There's even someone to represent a young Aaron in this scenario, and that's Gabby. As she watches her friends get Travis Scotted to death, her locals murked and gunned down, all she can do is watch in horror, just like someone we once knew. Or can she? Aaron ends up finding a flaw in the Warhammer's body, so he skill checks it and attempts to eat the capsule to incredible success. Porco and Pete come out to join the party, but Aaron is having none of it. He beats the absolute brakes off Porco, rips off his limbs, and uses its own jaw like a bottle opener to crack the seal. Oh my goodness, he just ate the Warhammer. Falco and Gabby try to call for Reiner's help because Porco's also about to get eaten. Levi already asked Zeke who his daddy was, and Peek is too busy listening to my SoundCloud. So they yell, and they scream, and Reiner's just like, oh my god, can y'all just let me die already? Pretty please. Oh god, I hate it here. It looks like we're about to get the rematch of the century, but that'll have to wait because Aaron was already charging a KO punch and made quick work of Reiner. He saved Porco at least. Good job, Reiner. Now, Marley did have backup on their way, but Armin put a stop to that real quick. My G, if you were worried about the blood on your hands before, at this point, I ain't got nothing to say. And hey, looks like the Survey Corps had allies of their own. They escape and everyone gets away unharmed. Psych! Okay, Gabby, that was just rude. This was the moment everyone understandably turned on Gabby, and to be honest, it felt good seeing her get a 10-piece combo for it. This part wasn't even in the manga, which makes it even funnier. However, I'm gonna defend her right quick. We all know Sasha. We love Sasha. But to Gabby, she's just one of the demons she was warned about, and one that shot her people. Plus, I think it's actually great symbolism. Sasha was always very positive and full of life. I believe Isayama did this to hammer in the fact that from now on, it's gonna be nothing but despair and pain. I feel so bad for Falco though. My guy has been lied to his entire life, used by Eren, which directly led to his friends being killed, and yet he's still one of the most likable and open-minded characters, constantly having to control his racist girlfriend. Eren's rogue mission was a success. He knew that if he did this, the scouts would have no choice but to come and save him. Sadly, this came at the price of Sasha's life, and when the news of her death breaks, all Eren can do is laugh insidiously. This man is broken beyond repair. I mean, he basically had the entire story spoiled for him when he kissed Historia. No wonder he's so fucked up. Oh, and guess what? Zeke is on their side. No wonder he went down so easy. I love his beef with Levi. It's really fucking funny. They have Marley and allies with them that were the reason they ended up there in the first place. Yelena, who's all kinds of crazy, and I'm not fucking saying that. Your name is Al Capone. Ugh. Why are you black? Hey, my guy's smooth with it, though. Eren is arrested for the third goddamn time for obvious war crimes, but then he grabs Hanji and says, I ate the Warhammer, which means I can leave anytime I want, and I know y'all can't kill me either. I'm allowing you to keep me here. I love him so much. They lock up Falco and Gabby straight murders the guard with a brick and tries to flee until a girl named Kaya in the forest finds them and says, are y'all lost? We run a foster home out here if y'all want to check it out. I can tell no one wants y'all's ugly ass. So Falco accepts and they end up staying with them for a bit. But here's the real kicker. These are Sasha's parents. So because Gabby can't seem to go 5 minutes without saying the N-word, I mean shit, even the horses are sick of her, they end up spilling the hemorrhoid cream that they're from Marley, and Kaya's like, damn, that's crazy. So we eating or what?
I'll take care of this!
Holy hell, Gabby, chill! Kaya ends up taking them to the place where her mother got eaten by a titan. I skipped this part in season 2, but it's pretty easy to explain. Kaya's mother was eaten whilst Eren was fighting Annie, and before Kaya was also eaten, Sasha rescued her. I'm sure y'all have already put the pieces together, but trust me, it only gets worse. This leads to one of the most important conversations in the entire story. Should people be blamed for the sins of their ancestors if they themselves did nothing wrong, such as Kaya's mother? It takes quite a bit, but eventually she gets Gabby to shut the everlasting fuck up and they can finally go and get some food. So while Eren is locked up, the people and even the military police start questioning and protesting against Eren's imprisonment, leading to the entire military being taken over by what they now call the Jaegerists, or as I like to call it, the Dastardly Dick Riding Division. Led by that one ginger dude from season 3. Again, the development of these characters is impeccable. Floch resented Eren and the others deeply for picking Armin over Erwin, and look at him now. Eren breaks out rocking an absolutely preposterous physique, so let's recap the plan. Zeke wants to use the Founder's abilities to stop the Eldian people from being able to reproduce, and Eren... remember those titans inside the walls? Well, there are millions of those bitches sleeping in that shit, and the only way to wake them up is to use the Founder's power to activate the rumbling. They can't do anything without each other, so Eren plans to meet up with Zeke, who at the moment is being held on a leash by Levi. He could have done this with Historia, but Eren didn't want to sacrifice her, so she's pretty much irrelevant at this point. Now, all that's super intriguing, but first we must feast. Sasha's parents get invited to a private dinner prepared by Nicolo, a Marleyan chef who would always cook for Sasha. He ended up falling in love with her and offered to cook for her family at the funeral. Falco and Gabby notice he's from Marley and try to ask him for help, but Gabby ends up explaining in great detail just how she busted a cap in Sasha Batgirl style. And Nick takes it surprisingly well. I feel so bad for Falco, man. Also, this is kind of embarrassing, but I'ma keep it tall. I forgot these were Sasha's parents until this very moment. My head obviously imploded through my wiener hole once it finally clicked, but I definitely should have figured that out sooner. Nick clearly wants her dead and hands the knife to the dad so he can do it, but then out of nowhere, the dad just starts spitting some hard wisdom and everything is all good. Even the whole gang pulls up because I don't know why not. But when I tell you shit is about to get nuts, you know I mean it. We get like 3 downright ludicrous bombshells at once. First things first, Kaya starts seeing red and goes to stab Gabby for killing the person who saved her. Mikasa ain't having it though, so her and Armin take her into another room. And when Haji asks what was in the wine, which a lot of fucking people drank, Nick tells her he just drank Zeke's ass juice, and him and everyone who drank it will turn into a titan if Zeke screams. Which would explain the titan summoning he pulled in season 3. Floch, did you know about this? So Armin, Mikasa, and Gabby are chatting, and Armin says, "Bitch, shut up. All you talk about is killing. You remind me of someone." "Hi, how are you?" Eren sits down with them, and in order to make Mikasa and Armin hate him and keep them out of danger, he basically says, "Armin, she's a crystal. She ain't gonna let you hit. Tubby." "Eren, how could you say that?" "Huh? Sorry, it's hard to hear you with my dick in your mouth." "Huh?" "I hate you, bitch. That crusty-ass scarf I gave you, shit's made with asbestos and child labor." You should already know this, bitch. Your purpose in life is to be on my side, on my dick, scarfing down my baby batter. By the way, I put a baby in Historia.
Nobody calls me dummy! No, please wait! Please!
Okay, so now the whole squad is locked up. Unfortunately for Eren, he don't know where Zeke is. Both him and Zeke are always one step ahead though. Turns out everyone drank the ass juice except for Levi, who now has to kill all his comrades as titans. Zeke thought this would slow him down, but motherfucker, can you even fathom this man's body count? Levi of course wins round 3, tries to tow him back with a thunder spear attached to his body, but again, always one step ahead. Hanji, who for some reason didn't get arrested, goes with Floch to retrieve Zeke and finds Levi acting like he's dead in order to escape with him. Old Peak shows up to save Gabby, coming face to face with Eren, and he actually makes dead eye contact and dares her to pull the trigger. Is it bad I like this Eren way better?
Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you can do about him because he's number 1.
She decides to play along and offers to tell Eren where Zeke is, and lo and behold, it's a trap. Now, of course, Peak sees him as the enemy, but trust me, y'all have no idea how much of a villain he really is. Paradise is under attack by Marley, and here comes Reiner ready to run it back again. Grab your popcorn, hold on to your ass hairs, and cancel your Nan's funeral because the Royal Rumble is about to begin. Reiner, my man, it's been a hot minute since I've knocked you on your ass. It's a shame, really. I was gonna have Gabby radio in a message for me. Oh, and what might that have been? That you a bitch! Yeah, I've got it. CG or 3D animation, no matter how well it's done, is always going to get shit from fans when it's mixed with traditional animation. Would I have preferred 2D Titans? Yeah, maybe. But this doesn't at all take away from this being my favorite Titan fight in the series so far. Eren has fully evolved, his hair got longer, his pupils have faded, and he's moved up from bitch baby brass knuckles to diamond gonad gauntlets. This 1v2 incorporates everything from past scuffles. Boxing, tackling, the Warhammer shit doesn't miss once. Marley ends up gunning down most of the military, so Al Capone is like, guys, fucking help us, please. See, they have the impression that if they help Eren get to Zeke, they'll start a small rumbling in order to scare Marley and threaten them, kinda like testing a bomb but not actually striking anyone. So they decide to go and help Eren. The cart titan is strapped and snipes Eren in the head, but then Zeke's hairy ass shows up and returns the favor to Reiner. But then Peak decides to play dead and blows Zeke's neck clean off. Falco and Gabby get saved by Falco's older brother Colt. Yeah, sorry man, I forgot you were a thing. They think that if they tell Zeke Falco drank the wine, then he won't scream to summon more Titans, and Zeke is like, damn, unlucky. It is complete chaos. There's Titans everywhere, Falco has transformed, Colt is dead, RIP, Reiner is holding down Falco and Eren, the whole country is on fire, and Yelena is loving it. We've gotta help Eren. You wanna run that by me again, Chief? Just kidding. The fuck? Falco attempts to eat Reiner while he's holding down Eren, and Reiner is just like, damn, I guess this is it. Falco's gonna inherit the armor. Fuck it, this shit's the worst. However, Porco steps in and says, okay, I'll give Porco this. That was kinda hard. Falco now holds the Jawed Titan, finally making himself somewhat useful to the plot. Eren can't get away from Reiner, so he says fuck it and just hits the dash. He's gonna make it! They're gonna touch! He's almost there! Woke up this morning. I swear to God, Gabby, why the fudge do you even want a Titan? You give this bitch a gun, any gun, put her on the front lines, and she's soloing, blindfolded, pre-stabbed 8 times. Eren's head has just been blown off his body. There's no coming back from this. Psych! After this incredible... I don't even know what to call this, it's just cool. Him and Zeke end up in the past, the place of all Titan power, I think. This is Ymir. No, not that Ymir, the Ymir. Now, enough playing shitty games that suck ass, because I'm about to take y'all back to the past where it all began. Okay, for real this time, like where literally everything started. Ymir and her people lived simple lives until their home was pillaged by these barbaric Vikings. Sounds horrific, right? Well, that's not what led to the creation of the Titans. Get this, a pig escaped, and everyone just sold out Ymir instantly. Like, no hesitation. Blame the child. Which led to her being hunted down like livestock and falling into a cavern and getting possessed by the original Titan. The Eldians used this power to fight back against the colonizers and would go on to oppress Marley and many other countries, at least until 13 years passed. Fortunately for the king, they had 3 children, and in order to preserve the power, he filleted his dead wife like a fish and had her children eat her, and then they were fed to their children and so on, which is how the 9 Titans came to be. I'm not sure why it stopped at 9 or how exactly Marley got all that spinal fluid to make their own Walmart Titans, but again, not that important. Getting back to Zeke and Eren, we now know why the people who wielded the founding Titan never helped protect Eldia. It's because they made an oath to the king that they would never interfere with the natural selection of the country, but since Eren isn't of royal blood, that rule does not apply. He tells Zeke that he won't go through with his euthanasia plan and will instead commence the rumbling. He tries to talk to Ymir, but she's naturally inclined to listen to Zeke because of his royal blood. Royal blood is very important, weren't you listening? Zeke, however, still wants Eren to be by his side, so he shows him memories of the past to try and convince him his plan is justified and Eren's father brainwashed him. But the more they look, the more Zeke comes to realize that Grisha treated Eren nothing like how he treated him. He becomes confused and they flash back to the day Grisha killed the royal family. But to Zeke's surprise, Grisha folds. He can't do it. But then...
何をしてる？立てよ父さん。忘れたのか？何をしにここに来たのか？犬に食われた妹に報いるためだろ。進み続けるんだ。死んだ後も物語だろ。
I have to keep it real, I've rewatched this like 6 times. I've asked people, I've watched breakdowns, done copious amounts of research, and my brain, for some reason, just will not let me comprehend what the hell just happened. So here's what I've been able to deduce. At this time, they're both in possession of the Attack Titan, so Grisha is seeing the future of Eren telling him to do it. If I go any further than this, I'm gonna go insane. So in short, almost everything that's happened in this story since that day was because of Eren. Ever since he kissed Historia, he knew. Him and Zeke were on an infinite flight of stairs trying to catch each other, but it turns out Eren was the stairs. They were playing chess, and at the last minute, Eren not only switched the colors, but then he just blasted him in the face with a shotgun. I guess I was wrong. That day did not change Eren. He's been a menace since the very beginning. They get transferred back to the I cannot say this word. With Eren, despite still being the one who's chained down, asserting absolute dominance over the situation. He even rips his hands from the chains in order to catch and grab Ymir, as he proceeds to tell her, "This world never treated you like anything other than a piece of meat. Lend me your power and I swear I will end it all." On God? What, did you think we weren't gonna end up in the apocalypse? Eren absorbs Zeke, no freaky, and gains the full power of the Founding Titan. Dude, this design fucks so hard. This is exactly how my back feels carrying around my massive nuts. No freaky. Side note, I love how they adapted this panel. It's so raw. Eren did nothing wrong. My favorite part is Armin realizing what they've done. He's like, Eren? I don't think you need that many. Oh. Fuck. Eren then sends a message to all living Eldians using the Founder's power. Is this thing on? Fucking hell. Okay, so y'all remember that no longer having kids plan or the rumbling warning shot? Yeah, fuck that. I'm killing everyone. Like, everybody? Everybody. Like, everybody. Okay, Eren, look. I get you're upset. But just hear me out for a minute. That day would have never happened if the Colossal Titan didn't break the wall. Just kill Armin! So Eren and his goons start marching, leaving behind all the other Titans, leading to my favorite scene in all of Part 2. Any sequence with this music is going to make me smile. It is sad though, since they have to kill their comrades, including Commander Pixis. R.I.P. Kaya and her family try to escape, but Kaya's stupid ass loses a 1v1 with poor architecture, and it looks like she's about to get devoured by a Titan just like her mother. Until one-shot Gabby pulls up and saves her just like Sasha did long ago. I absolutely adore the way this storyline played out. She might have killed Sasha and bludgeoned a man to death, but her development and how their stories connected and wrapped around each other was utterly riveting. I mean, why do you think they made Gabby kind of look like her? The gang gets their hands on Falco and they actually start debating on if they should feed this child to someone else, and Connie's like, I know just the person. So in the midst of all this chaos, Connie kidnaps the kid and plans to feed him to his mom, who's stuck as a Titan back in his home village. I didn't mention this in season 2 because I thought it was boring as shit, but I do really like this conflict. They meet up with Gabby and she's out here asking the real questions. Why didn't Eren control the Titans? Can he turn Titans back into humans? Obviously we don't know the extent of his power, but even if he could, I'm sure Eren's too busy causing literal genocide to care. Suddenly they come to realize that all the Titans were temporarily stripped of their hardening, which means Adolf Jaeger has officially started the rumbling, which means he's going to use his colossal magnum cock, whip it in a circle like he's hula hooping, causing thunder cracks in the atmosphere, and drop it on Marley, splitting the country in half like Moses or something like that. The Jaegerists have taken over, and Hanji and Levi are still missing. Armin and Gabby find Connie trying to make Falco a light snack because the dumbass actually believed him. Like, bro, come on. At this point, I wouldn't even believe my own thoughts if I was you. Armin straight up offers his Titan because he's real and jumps to certain death, which gets Connie to let go. I'll admit, I really didn't like how they just cut to them having an understanding. I really wish we got to see them talk more and actually convince Connie to give up on his plan. Then maybe end with Connie ending his mother's suffering. I guess they can still do that. I haven't read that far ahead, but if not, then I'd say missed opportunity, because if he did do that, then it would make more sense for Connie not hesitating to kill the ones he loves later. Meanwhile, Hanji is still in the woods nursing Levi. He may be broken in every conceivable area, but I cannot wait for him to be back in action with his scars and bandages. I know this might come off as weird, but they should absolutely end up together, assuming anyone survives this. They end up coming across Peek and Marley in general, make an alliance, and at the same time, Connie and Armin come across Annie. I don't know why I haven't mentioned this yet, but in order to go Titan mode, the host needs to sustain an injury. Any sharp object or biting really hard will do the trick. Although it's important to note, just because there's an injury does not automatically mean you can transform, so it really was just a skill issue, huh? Every living main character from both sides have now assembled. I don't know how it could get more hype than this. The development and amount of time we spent with these groups has led us here, and I couldn't be more satisfied. They plan to attack the Jaegerists and steal the ship, but first we must have our stew. I'm gonna blue ball you guys for a minute. I've decided I want to talk about the last episode before we get into what's coming. This episode shows the gang arriving in Marley for the first time, and they immediately get geeked up with the locals. We get more context as to why Eren went rogue. It's a good time, a really good episode. Also, this shot had my jaw below the floor. The most important part, however, is easily this scene right here. Mikasa, look. I'm just trying to fuck.
I'm so horny.
What?
I love you.
Really?
Yeah, like a brother.
This is your fault. Okay, getting back, Armin and Connie plan to set them up, but they see right through the bullshit and threaten to blow the whole cruise. This has to be one of, if not the saddest fight in the whole series. The battle itself is awesome, don't get me wrong. Seeing all these characters come together and protecting each other feels so epic and earned. Only they're fighting old friends and people they once knew from both the Corps and military police. It's especially hard to watch Connie have to kill his old comrades when both sides just want what they think is best for their home. Still, the fight is amazing. We even get to see Falco transform for the first time and Flock going full Levi mode. He's gonna make it. He's got the shot! Who keeps giving this bitch again? I really have to give it to Flock though. He's easily the one that took the most after Erwin, leading his soldiers to the very end just like he did. Everyone makes it to the ship, and in order to prevent the rest from coming after them, the general and even the old sergeant from season 1 blow the other ship sky high. R.I.P. Commander Magath and Shades, the realest of them all. The battle to decide the fate of humanity will come in another video. God, it would have been so nice if I could just make one big video and be done with this, but MAPPA struck again. They went ahead and split part 3 in half. It has officially become comical. Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3, part 1 of 2. I'm going to start biting people.
Ooh, a fresh pie? Save me a slice. That's good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's... Alright, that's good. Okay. Alright, okay, alright. Okay, that's good. That's good! It's enough slicing!
I'd rather review part 3 in its entirety, so I'll talk about it when both parts are released. Now, to be clear, I do know how the story ends, but I don't know every single detail, like who all lives and dies, so please keep that to yourself in the comments. I'm already in enough pain from what I do know. Attack on Titan is every bit as good as people say it is. If you wanted to summarize the story in the most barren and surface level way possible, we have human versus bigger human. But as soon as you pick up that remote and hit play, you will be engrossed into its unfathomable world building, complex characters, themes of corruption, oppression, racism. It builds so much off such a simple concept, and it pulls zero punches in letting you know that this world is shit. There's no honest to god bad guys in this tale. I mean, maybe Eren, because genocide is kind of hard to defend, but you get what I'm saying. It's all just real characters with real goals and real beliefs, all wanting to do what they think is right. Almost nobody wants to kill each other or really even fight one another, but the circumstances they are constantly put in leave them with no other choice. It's kill or be killed. All you need to do is pick a side. Think about it. Even people like Armin with the heart of gold, the man with the plan, more than likely has the highest body count, at least for now. It doesn't shy away from the horrors of war either. It's a never-ending circle of oppression between two worlds that have both suffered from the curse one side was given. I'm well aware I might have missed stuff or skipped over things. I might have gotten some facts wrong here and there, and if I did, please let me know. Just be aware I've done everything shy of faxing Isayama pixel art of my spread colon, just wanting to make sure all or at least most of my info is correct. This is such a complex and big story that if you watched the entire season in a single sitting and paid attention to every minuscule detail, even being able to spot things like a background character adjusting his nutsack, you still wouldn't get answers to everything. I'm just here to make jokes. I haven't read all of the manga, but Isayama considers the anime the best depiction of his story anyway, so go fuck yourself. I'm so happy I'll be able to join in on the hype when the final parts are released because, you know, we couldn't just have 5 clear-cut seasons. We needed to brand the 4th as the finale, then divide and ration every last bit of it, kinda like Ymir. I'll make sure to cover stuff like the moral ambiguity of the rumbling and AOT's infamous controversy in that video just because I think it would fit better. This was a blast to go through, and, if you watched the whole thing, thank you. It really means a lot. I'm gonna go play Spongebob the Cosmic Shake now, and I sincerely hope you do too. Hope you have a great day, and bye-bye.